Well, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But in this case, what we got is 4 pairs of wires hanging off the bottom of the camper. Luckily, they had some labels on them, and we've been able to dope out what they are. This is kind of interesting. They've got this. Let's start backwards here. This blue and red wire pair are tell you what, let's see. Yeah, the blue and red wires are positive battery connections. The one with the red one with the plug goes to the truck battery and the charging system in the truck, and the blue one goes to the camper battery. And there's a big solenoid in there that connects the two in parallel. And there's supposed to be a control switch in the truck. So when the truck is running, you throw a switch and it connects the charging system of the truck to the camper battery so that the camper battery is charging. And it also turns on the running lights for the camper. So you can't forget that they're connected together because the running lights are on when that switch comes on. So this one here is the control cable for that solenoid and the power for the running lights. So that's what that one is. This one, I've forgotten myself what this is. This is all of the DC systems in the camper. This is the heater, the water pump, the cabin lights, the fans, and the DC for the refrigerator. So that's everything that runs off the camper battery, the 15 amp circuit. So that's 3 of them, and the 4th one is the DC input for this little AC inverter here. And I don't even know what that runs yet, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, so that's what we found out, which isn't too shabby. We know that this is designed to use a separate camper battery, and we know how to hook it up. What I don't see is a heavy negative connection from the truck charging system to the camper battery or the DC system for the lights and stuff. So that's got to be provided somehow, but it's not obvious here. So we've got all that. Haven't quite doped out how the fridge works. And there's some kind of a switch that turns, there's a little relay under here that operates this inverter, it turns the inverter on and off. And I haven't figured out where that control switch is. It's somewhere inside the camper, but I haven't found it yet. So I haven't figured out how they turn this little AC inverter on and off, and I haven't figured out what it's supposed to power, but something. So going over it again, we made just wrote all the stuff I just said down on a piece of paper, made a chart out of it so that I could remember what things are. So this is a 12-volt DC camper wiring, and this is how it. This is the front of the camper here, and this is just where they come out. So this circuit number 1 is the running lights, and it turns on the battery solenoid coil. So that connects the truck battery and truck charging system to the camper battery when this solenoid is energized. So you flip a switch in the truck and you're charging the camper battery and you're turning on the running lights, and those that's for safety, but it also reminds you that the two things are connected together so you don't camp overnight, run all your stuff in the camper, and run your truck battery down. So that's circuit number 1. Circuit number 2 is basically all the DC loads that are built into the camper. The cabin lights, the water pump, the heater. There's a little bit of DC used for the refrigerator. What else is there? Heater, water pump, cabin lights, the fans. He put a radio in it. There's a porch light, and there's the refrigerator. So all those things are on one circuit protected by a 15 amp fuse. The third thing is the DC input that feeds that little DC-AC inverter. So those go to the camper battery, and then there's a little control relay. So it's got a positive and negative wire to energize that coil, but there's a switch that controls that, and I haven't physically found out where it is. So because they mounted the inverter under the inside the truck bed and away from the inside of the camper, you can't turn on and off the switch on the front of the inverter, so you had to use this little relay coil instead. And I don't know where the switch is that controls it, so I've got to find that out. And the last thing, number 4, is the hot lead, the positive lead from the car battery on the charging system of the truck, and the positive lead for the camper battery. And the solenoid just connects those two things together. When the solenoid is energized, the contact's closed, and the truck charging system and the truck battery is connected to the 12 volt to the camper battery, so that the camper battery can be charged while you're driving. And alternately, of course, if you have solar charging your camper battery and this is on, then it's going to charge the truck battery too. So that's what we found out. We wrote it down. We know what they are. The guy who did this basically had his head screwed on okay. Everything makes sense. It's this running lights and solenoid charging connection through the solenoid coil. It's pretty cool. And I haven't quite figured out what he did with the inverter yet, but the rest of it the camper guys did. So there we are. But he labeled things, thank God, and that saved me all kinds of trouble, because I didn't know what that big solenoid was doing up there in the refrigerator compartment, and I'd had a dandy time trying to figure out what he was doing. But a couple of little labels made it real simple.